and Peaceful Planting Holy Harvest is Reverend Joanne Boruck.
Thank you, Tress. And off we go. Are you going to? I'll have a hug on the way by. So hang on a sec. This is an intermission. I'm talking today about peaceful planting. And when I think about peace, I think about flowers. So I decided I was going to wear my flower girl headdress. And when I think about Holy Harvest, I think about my ordination. So I'm going to wear that too. Because I'm going to talk a little bit about what this symbol means. Good morning, beautiful. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Red Deer. Today, I'm planting seeds of peace and faith, and I'm reaping the harvest, the holy harvest. So please join me as I joyfully state. And if you choose to, you may close your eyes and become still and know we are all one. With gratitude and grace, I know there is only one power for good in the universe. There is only one source of all life. And I am the seed of the fruit of life from the power of the universe. Within me is the power, the knowledge, the wisdom, the path, the infinite seed package. Just as an apple seed has the opportunity to produce millions more, so do my thoughts. Today I open my mind. I open it as easily as I open a package of seeds. And I choose seeds of love, peace, harmony, so that I may harvest the holiness of oneness. With loving thanks for the truth that I'm working with a power greater than I am. For this center for spiritual living, Red Deer, and all centers teaching this truth. For financial security, for spiritual abundance, I am grateful. And I release my word into the soil of mind, where it is acted upon, nurtured, germinated, and returned to me, complete and overflowing. And together we say, and so it is. As we sit in silence for a moment, let us send a bouquet of the most beautiful flowers in our mind to all those who are in our thoughts this day, and those we offer our prayers to. Today I hold Josh in my prayers and myself. Thank you. So today it's my intention to inspire, empower myself and others to use springtime as a metaphor for change, to use springtime to plant these beautiful, life-affirming thoughts, peaceful thoughts, and to harvest a sacred, holy life. So I invite you first to join me by taking a seed package. Donna, can you pass these around because I'll be out of the way? I want you all to plant seeds of peace and love. And just hold that package in your hand as you embrace the words you hear today. And take what you need of seed and weed out the rest. you'll notice that your seed package is a mixture. Some of them are wildflowers and some of them are cut flowers. And you don't know what's inside there, but you know whatever it is, it's beautiful because of the picture on the outside, which is just like us. We don't know what's inside our hearts until we open it and plant it. Thank you, Donna. I put it in I was looking for a watering can at home, but mine was dirty. So I found this beautiful water jug, and it's got flowers on it. So I used that. I found, as I was looking, so many expressions of planting a good seed, planting thoughts, and of harvesting. You reap what you sow. I'm going to read a few of them to you guys and then give you my take on what I think it is. This whole teaching is based on that, the seed, the soil, and the plant. And this is the representation of the creative process. And I'll explain it a little, but it is just a process. It's a process of nature. It's a process of creativity. Ernest Holmes says a lot about the seed, the soil, and the plant. One of them he says, "Guard well this garden of your mind. It's God's garden of the soul. It's your garden of Eden, where in it you may grow your fondest desires, hopes, and you watch them blossom into fulfillment." So when I think about planting, I want you to think about a beautiful black field. Right now, when you're driving around, there is some beautiful black soil. And whether you have a farm, or whether you plant on your deck, or in your backyard, or in a planter, just imagine that beautiful black soil. Wow. Imagine for yourself with spring. Maybe your mind could just be fertile soil. Clear, clean, start over again. Now, we've had that package of seeds, and you took that package of seeds home and you just stuck it on the shelf. Absolutely nothing would grow. Actually, they'd just dry up and they wouldn't be any good, so we might as well use them. So put them in your car, and the next time you go for a walk in the bush, throw those seeds around, those wildflower seeds. Or dig up a little patch under a tree and maybe put those seeds in. I'm going to put them under my deck because it doesn't get much sun, but wildflowers are very resilient, just like we are. So I'm going to plant them there. And I want you to remember when you plant them, each seed has its own germination period. Now, a sunflower seed might take only a week, but other seeds take weeks and weeks. So we plant the seeds and we sit. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. That's the hardest thing, is waiting. Patience. But I want to go back now to the fertile soil of the mind. You see, the seed packages are like a gift. They're a gift from our Creator. That package of seeds represents your infinite potential. Everything you've ever wanted, everything you've dreamed of, it's just there inside you. I believe when we're born, this little seed is born within us, and it's up to us to water it, to germinate it. And there are a lot of quotes in the Bible as well about that. In Jeremiah, he says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper, plans to give you hope, and plans to give you a future." But do you know what else happens if you don't plant your seeds? Well, the soil's still producing something, and deciding not to plant your seeds is actually making a decision. Because if you don't plant seeds in that soil, and if you've ever seen a farm that left it for summer fowl, it's full of weeds. So I'm telling you, if you don't plant good seeds, the weeds will germinate as sure as heck. And so it's also so important when they plant those seeds, when you plant seeds, they fertilize, They tend the weeds, and we have to do that too, because we plant some seeds and then we might think, oh, it's just going to happen like in The Secret, how it just rang the doorbell and there's $1 million there. That's not how it works. You plant the seed and then you start paying attention, because somebody's going to come along like, I want to play piano better, and there's Audrey sitting there. And so something's going to come along to take you in the path of your expectation. Ernest Holmes says, watch your garden carefully, patiently waiting for a new harvest, for you shall reap what you sow. But I want to go back to pulling weeds. Sometimes when you plant your seeds and you plant them at home, you're going to notice there's weeds there. And everything's a metaphor for me. Everything reminds me of something else. So I was thinking about pulling weeds. And sometimes you have that weed, that dandelion or thistle, and it's got a weed about that deep, and you're pulling it and pulling it. It breaks off. And I thought, that's just like in my life sometimes. I talk about the things that have happened, and I think, oh, I've dealt with that. Oh, yeah, I've dealt with that. Oh, no, because I broke it off at the root. I didn't pull the root out. And I know if you've ever pulled a weed in your garden, when you're wiggling it, and you get that weed and the whole root comes out, that's such a sense of gratification. And we can do that with our own life too. Just wiggle it around until you get to the root. And if you didn't already know, and Ernest Holmes will tell you that, I firmly believe that they created nature and then they created us in nature's image. We have a season, we can plant, we can harvest, we can go into our own, we can, what is that word? Hibernate. And it's so amazing. Mother Nature. Hey, didn't you read something in here, Therese? Our God nature.
At the very beginning.
Okay. So this is our God nature we're talking about. So, teaching the science of mind. It's called the seed, the soil, and the plant. The creative process. And I've got it on my lapel. So the seed is actually the whole thing. This is Creator. This is God. These are the seeds. This is where you plant them. And then it's called the ascension of spirit into matter. That might sound very confusing. So, when you think of the seed, the soil, the plant, and I always thought when I was learning it, why isn't it upside down? Because you plant the seed and then it goes into the soil and becomes a plant. I never did get the answer for that. But I totally understand that the plant is the manifestation. So when it comes from a power greater than we are, this is a creative process. It comes from a power, and we move it through our thoughts, through our nurturing, through our attention, through our meditation. All of that is right here. That's the soil. If you plant what you want into a soil that's filled with intention, clarity, purpose, love, you're going to get a manifestation. Faith. So it says here, move your hand down. I got to move it up because it's not looking so good. Move your hand down. And then it becomes into a plant. That's a manifestation. But this whole circle is the whole of life. This is the circle of life. And I'm really moved by this teaching because it's not just a philosophy. It's certainly not a religion. It's a way of living your life. Taking control of your life and saying, I have infinite seeds. I plant them in the soil of my mind, and I watch them germinate and manifest. But sometimes in class, when I was taking class, I think this whole thing is the circle. And so I think of what I want to germinate. I want to germinate maybe abundance, and so I open at the top, and the thought goes in, and this is where we nurture it, in our head and our heart, so we nurture it. But sometimes something comes along, I get a bill in the mail, I'm so ticked. right away, I stopped the germination. But the greatest thing is I can just go back into the circle and start it all over again and germinate it one more time. So it's okay to go back over and over and over. Reverend Judy has this metaphor. She talks about ordering a pizza. She says, when you want to order a pizza, but in her day you phoned it in. Now we just do it online. But when you want to order a pizza, you look and there's like 1,000,000 toppings. That's just like your life. You think about all the things that you could have or that other people have or you see on TV. There's a great big list, so you choose them, check them off, make your list, what you want to experience. But then, if you just get off the internet and you never make the phone call, nothing's going to happen. So Judy says you send it to God. God, I want a pizza, but, I want a life that's loving, kind, pepperoni and onions. And that's my pizza. So you want to do that. You don't want to hang up. Because when you hang up, you've stopped the process. So you have to put your faith in something greater than that. And you know what? You don't have to plant a whole package of seeds. If you only plant 2 seeds in this life, make them peace and love. Because everything else germinates from those 2 things. So with that, I have to caveat, everything that happens in your life, everything you wish for, is always for the greatest good of all concerned. There is so much truth in some of God's greatest gifts or his unanswered prayers. So sometimes you say, I've been doing treatment for, a trip to Hawaii or something, just a trip. But there's a reason why it's not coming yet. It'll come, it'll come, it'll come. When I said you plant the seed and you wait, and you wait, and you wait, I wanted to tell you this story about the bamboo plant. Some of you might know the bamboo, but the story is a Chinese farmer noticed how sustainable and how it rebirths itself so quickly and it grows. So he decided, I'm going to plant my whole field with bamboo plants. So he plants his whole field and he waits. First year comes along, no plants grow. Second year comes along, no plants grow. Third year comes along, still no plants. Fourth year, still no plants. Now for us, if I had to wait 4 years, I'd be throwing in the towel, buying a new package. But just when he was about to give up, he thought, one more spring. And every year, for those 4 years, he nurtured it. He watered it. He pulled weeds. He, did treatment for sunshine, and everything was there. And the science of mind teaches us that all our job is to do is to nurture, to plant, to be clear in what we want. And guess what? That 5th year, the bamboo shot through the earth. And I don't know if you know this about bamboo, but bamboo can grow 80 feet in 6 weeks. Wow. So all the years that nothing was happening under the soil, as soon as it came through, it just blossomed. And I think that's happened in my life. You wait, and then all of a sudden a year comes along with everything happens at the same time. Because you were germinating, you were nurturing, and that's the power that you have within you. All things work in God time. The clock was invented for some reason to tell people they're late. But I think planting time, it's truly the indigenous cultures that have worked with the moon and the earth and the sun for years and years without the clock. And if you've ever done something with them, they have their own time. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, all laws are the law of nature. The law of mind is subjective, just like nature. The soil knows how to take a seed and make a plant from it. But the other thing the soil does, if you put a tomato seed in that ground, you're not going to get a potato. So if you're planting seeds of love, I don't want to tell you that story. If you're planting seeds of love, love is going to show up in your life. But if you're planting seeds of loneliness, that's what's going to show up too. So I've talked a lot about planting, and then I was thinking about weeding, and I talked about how that root is. But I think weeding your mental mind, weeding out your mental weeds is so important to manifesting, to creating anything in your life. I read this book not too long ago called what? The Surrender Experiment. I don't know if anybody else has read it. So he talks about, instead of experiencing life, he's just going to witness life. And he's going to understand that he's just a witness. His thoughts are something that came to him from his parents, his siblings, the TV. So those are one of the 6 things I took an Ayurvedic course, and they talked about cleaning your mental house. And so they said there were 6 things to do, and they all had to do with your thoughts. So the first one was take inventory of your thoughts. And if a thought comes up, you just say, is that a thought that I want to germinate today? And if not, get rid of it. And the second one was also on your thoughts. It talked about do mental housekeeping on your thoughts. If you don't have time to take an individual thought, take all your thoughts and realize that you can weed out as many as you can. Do you know we have 90,000 thoughts a day? Surely they can't all be positive. In one of the classes we did, we had to just write down our negative thoughts, and everybody in the class said they ran out of time and paper because you just can't help it. So out of those 90,000 thoughts you have a day, decide which ones are important and focus on them. My mom had the 10 rule. If it doesn't matter in 10 years, forget about it. If it still matters in 10 days, give it a thought. If it still matters in 10 minutes, do something about it. So decide what thoughts you're going to keep. And the third one was to meditate. And they even said to do affirmations. Here we do affirmative prayer treatments. That's the greatest gift you have. And then it goes on again, it's about your thoughts. It says, make your mind your master, not your master, your servant. Make your mind your servant. Your mind's there to serve you, not to master you. And you can take deep breaths by just going within and thinking about your thoughts. I was shocked how many thoughts I could think about when I was writing this down. And so I think about a thought and I think, oh, that's not going to matter. I'm letting that one go. Oh, maybe this one's one I have to think about. So those are the things, that's the process too of changing your thinking, change your life, is what are your thoughts? Can you weed them out? And if you've got too many, if there's 90,000 thoughts, just decide you're going to group them together into loving thoughts, life-affirming thoughts, or life-depleting thoughts. And realize that you're not your thoughts. And then be gentle with yourself. When you're weeding out your thoughts, be gentle with yourself and others. They might be spewing out those 90,000 thoughts and not even thinking. I'm guilty of that sometimes. So be gentle with yourself and others, because they are not their thoughts either. And when you get up in the morning, that's the best time to just think about your mental thoughts. We talk about getting up. Reverend Doug says, in the morning, do you get up and say, good God, it's morning? Or do you say, good morning, God? But we don't have to use that word. I mean, we can just get up in the morning before your feet hit the ground, say, what kind of a day do I want? What kind of seeds am I planting today? And once you decide what you want to do, you can lay and meditate. You can go and do yoga. You can listen to music. You can play your guitar. Whatever brings you to your highest and greatest good. I found that in the Bible too. In Proverbs 17:22 it says, a cheerful heart is good medicine, and a crushed spirit dries up the bones. That was something else. And in Matthew it says, those who hear and understand the word produce a crop. Wow, I'm not saying that this is something new. That message is thousands and thousands of years old. Those who hear and understand the word produce a crop. So, we've taken that one step further. Those who understand the word, and you know now that words have power to empower you or power to deplete you. So if you understand the word, you'll produce a crop, and it's up to you what kind of crop you want to harvest. And in James he says, peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness, which is totally where I got my title from. Peaceful harvest, peaceful planting, holy harvest. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. So I challenge you, whether you're planting the seed package you got today or planting your garden at home, if you're putting in carrots, potatoes, herbs, whenever you put your hands in soil, I'm planting peace. And keep that in your heart as you push those seeds into the ground. Boy, it sure reminds me of Ernie when I talk about planting. He truly was the dusty old farmer that makes my heart sing. So my job in closing is to remind myself that I, like the seed, need to know what I want in my life. And in knowing that, I can declare that I'm open, I'm ready to receive, to accept, to take responsibility and nurture it. And just like the seed, I reach inside for the source of life, for this power greater than we are. I reach inside, and guess what I find? Myself. So I invite you to reach inside and find yourself, because I am Reverend Joanne Faith, peace and love Boruck, and I wish for you peaceful planting and a holy harvest, and so it is.